7:32 at WEZ. I had a wonderful, wonderful time yesterday with our folks out at Williams Tire on Dorchester Road. What a great bunch of people.
Those guys are really, really nice, and what an operation they've got going.
Don was just absolutely the best. He gave us a tour of the whole thing, and I know why I couldn't quite nail down the location, and this will show some age, but that used to be where they are now.
Yeah.
Where they are now on Dorchester Road, Williams Tire location, used to be the new car lot for Gene Reed Chevrolet years ago. And now what's right behind them is like a window company, I think. They are in what was the showroom. For Gene Reed.
And, I had forgotten all about that showroom until I saw it yesterday, and I said, wow.
Well, yeah, and then right up the road was an Oldsmobile joint.
That was the
James
one you
Oldsmobile.
remembered, because I told you, I thought that they were in the parking lot of that old Chevy dealership.
Yeah, that's what it was. It used to be Gene Reed Chevrolet.
Right on Dorchester
Road.
Yep.
That was, and the Flying Dutchman was right up the road from that. Now
they've got this.
That's what Gary was telling me yesterday. I don't remember a whole lot of that.
And little Nashville was up
across
there.
the street.
Yeah, and the Brentwood, where Bert used to play, was up the road.
What was that? The Brentwood Supper Club.
Supper Club.
Of course, Gary and Don were the ones talking about all that. I was just listening.
Now, he was here. Back in the same time I was here in the Navy.
Yeah, it seems like that their business has gone well even since I'm not employed there anymore.
Yeah, they pointed out a couple of times yesterday, said, is that guy coming by here? And I said, oh, you mean Rick?
Because we don't remember him?
Yeah.
I only worked there a weekend.
Yeah, he kept saying, maybe one of the fellows that worked here hired him because they didn't want to do the work. I gets a bit, and I said, yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
I'm sure that's what it was. I was 13, 14 years old, and...
But Don and Howard, Mr. Williams was just as pleasant as he could be.
Nice,
Great to talk to him.
Nice.
Kimberly was crackerjack. Mike, they say, is kind of the go-to guy. He sits over there behind the computer, and if they have any questions,
that's where they go.
Mike's got the answers. But they were great. They did, and huge facility.
Oh my gosh!
Full
it's
service.
What they can do. Yeah.
What do you say? They had 20 bays.
20 bays, and they can do any kind of work. I mean,
they do it all.
Except for, he says he won't rebuild transmissions.
No.
So he'll take one out and put one in.
And same with motors. He'll replace your motor and your transmission.
And he can do it. I mean, they got the place to do it.
But everything else they got. And he had a 1955 Caddy sitting over in one of the bays. 1955 Caddy. Gary just cried because he remembers riding in those things.
Oh, man. That was back in the day, man.
And
55?
And I knew I was out of place when Don said, so 1955 Caddy, y'all know where the gas tank is, don't you? Well, Gary went right to it.
Did you?
Gary went right to it. They were under the tail light.
Yeah.
You had to lift
the tail light out.
The tail light was where it was.
I told you I worked in the gas station when
because the trunk was so big, there was no room for a gas tank underneath there.
Did you see the size of that car?
It's amazing.
I mean, that thing reminded me of like an old Viking ship.
It really did.
That long.
Like a land yacht.
Yeah, there's more, like you said, there's more steel in that Cadillac than there are in those Humvees they're using in Afghanistan right now.
I could not imagine trying to park that car today.
But thanks to everybody for coming by. Good to see Lee yesterday.
Lee Halley did not give me $1 single of his lottery winnings.
He put it all in there in the change bandit
bucket.
He
did. He gave a nice donation.
Thank you all very much.
That's nice and all, but still, he and I go way back.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew him when I was a kid. It looks like he could have gave me a couple $100.
He probably remembers the money that you borrowed from him. He was just kind of tabulating that against what he might have given you had he felt like it. Thanks to everybody for coming by. We had a great time. And they raised a lot of money, quite a bit of money for the Change Bandits, and we appreciate everybody for doing that.
Go by and visit them if you want some work done. Williams Tire on Dorchester Road.
Absolutely.
And aren't they rounding up the dollar?
They are.
All week long.
All week long.
Any service you do, they'll round it up and give the extra change to Change Bandits, and all that goes to MUSC Children's Hospital. Thank you all very much for having us over there. 7:36 now.
It's that time of year again, folks. Time for the annual